what's up, my Dumbo bros? Today, we are talking about the top 20 most used cards in Clash Royale. If this gets a good amount of support, like, I don't know, 3 views, let's say. I know, like, some people would ask for 3 likes, but I'm only asking for 3 views, please. And then I'll do, do top 20 least used cards. Alright, so starting off at number 20, we have the Inferno Tower. The Inferno Tower is the only building on this list, the only defense. And I can understand why. Other buildings don't melt down everything as fast and like take a little while and they're just there to distract. And then Inferno Tower can burn stuff down really fast and does the most damage out of all defenses. And it's really balanced, 5 elixir, a little expensive, and it's used in 13.9% of all decks. Then at number 19, Giant. Giant was the first like mass used tank because it's basic, 5 elixir, and it does a lot of damage. It has a lot of health and does a lot of damage. It's very balanced and it's just a good tank. The Giant right now is used in 15% of all decks. And I'm basing this around all arenas, not just one. Number 18, Fire Spirits. Fire Spirits are cheap, do a bunch of damage, and take 2 shots from the tower, which when you have 3 of them for just 2 elixir, they can do probably 600 damage if you get them all to the tower. For just 2 elixir, it's crazy. Cheap, good health, good damage. It's just a good all-around card. It's used in 15.7 of all decks. 15.7% of all decks, excuse me. Wrapping up that battle, BMers. Derbeater winning that. Going on to number 17, the Balloon. The Balloon can be, you can unlock it at a very low arena. Also 5 elixir as number 19 and 20, Giant Inferno Tower. But it can be burned down pretty easily. It's kind of vulnerable, but does a ton of damage. And even the death damage does a bunch. I haven't updated this yet, so it might be a little late because of the balance changes, but the Balloon is still used a lot, and I'm actually using it in my Expo deck, which seems weird, but it works. So, the Balloon is used in 16.8% of all decks. Number 16, the Electro Whiz. Oh my god. If you're in Arena 7 or higher, you know what I mean. This is overused, I think, and it's kind of OP, and that's why they nerfed it. But the Electro Whiz just zaps everything, so if they have an Inferno Tower or Sparky, they would not shoot once. Unless the Sparky was tanked for and had a few things around it. But Electro Wizard can pretty much deal with a Sparky. Well, it can deal with a Sparky, and it can deal with an Inferno Dragon, Inferno Tower, and it's just very useful and cheap for elixir. But the reason, probably the reason why it's not up higher is because it's a legendary in a high arena. So moving on to number 15. Oh wait, no. EOS is used in Electro Wiz has been used in 17.4% of all decks, which is kind of crazy because I've seen a good variety of all these decks. And when this first came out, I didn't think it was that good. But my thoughts are kind of weird because I thought the Dirt Goblin would be good, and it's not used at all. But that's my opinion, so it doesn't mean it's bad. So, moving on, number 15, the Witch. The Witch can be obtained in the first arena, and it's very useful. It does splash damage and spawns skeletons to distract princes, hog riders. It's good against hog riders because of the skeletons, P.E.K.K.A.s, mini P.E.K.K.A.s. It's good. It's like a mini skeleton army, but it's not enough value to zap because it's so expensive. And the Witch is 5 elixir, and it's an epic. So, but it's like one of the first epics you can get. So it's pretty easy to obtain. So, the Witch is placed in 18.7% of all decks. Wow. Like, I don't see that much Witch where I am right now, but that's kind of crazy that it's used that much. I'm surprised. And then we move on to number 14, the Musketeer. The Musketeer is good value, and hold on, I can't speak. So YT Bonk Bebop TV just won there. Musketeer is fair priced 4 elixir card that literally is a good counter to like all splash damage stuff. Like, I use it in like every one of my decks, and I'm surprised it's not up higher. It's like in the first training camp, and it's a rare, so it's really easy to obtain, and everyone obtains it in like their first stages of the game. So every one of you watching has it, unless you just started, of course. But Musketeer, I just think it's a great card. It's very useful, valuable for 4 elixir. Does a ton of damage, doesn't have a bunch of health, but you can tank for it. And it can take out wizards, baby dragons, stuff like that, Valkyrie. And it's usually creates positive elixir trades. Orange juice. So, moving on. I was getting distracted by this battle. Expo versus Expo. So, moving on. Number 13. Goblin Barrel. Goblin Barrel, I think it's a little cheap for what it is. Because it's only can't speak. 3 elixir, and it shoots goblins anywhere in the arena, and crazy. Like 1 elixir to put it anywhere in the arena, so you can like throw it all the way to a tower, and it does tons of damage. While goblins would just get killed pretty fast by a tower if they were placed by themselves. I like it personally because I like playing the Hog Rider, but other people, like, Hog Rider is very used right now, and Goblin Barrel is one of the best things to go with Hog Rider. So, like, goblins that can be shot anywhere in the arena. Why wouldn't you have it? Moving on, number 12, the Log. So, the Log is a legendary, and some people might have not been lucky enough to obtain it. So, the log is very valuable. 2 elixir, travels down the battlefield, does a bunch of damage. Like 100 on the 100 on crown towers, and like 200 or something to regular towers. And hold on, hit speak again. And takes out goblins, and also takes out like skeletons, anything cheap, fire spirits, ice spirit, stuff like that, for such a low price. So you can get value off of your log by like logging many things and save a bunch of elixir, and it's just really good value. And hold on, I forgot to do how much is placed index. 18.7, Musketeer 19.1, Goblin Barrel 19.6. Why do I keep on forgetting to do this? And the first one over 20 is the log, 21.3% in all decks. And it's the highest legendary, I think, on this list. Yeah. And I can understand why. It's easy to obtain. I have a log too. And it's so good. It's balanced. And I love the log. Like, look. Log, log, log. Sultan. He's like number 10. Alright, moving on. Number 11, the baby dragon. Baby dragon, it's from training camp. Literally, air and splash mixed together makes a baby dragon. Like, who would not use a baby dragon? Well, say that to yourself. I don't use the baby dragon right now, but it's a very good starter card. Very good, like, all around. Very balanced. Kind of cheap, 4 elixir. And, it can be countered by Musketeer, but it doesn't do a bunch of damage, but it's very strong on defense. And, like, takes out goblins, skeletons, and, like, why can't I talk right now? And just literally, like, any cheap stuff, just like the log. It's a flying log that does a bunch of splash damage. And it's pretty cool. Baby dragon flying splash. Like, who wouldn't use it? Me, but still, don't listen to me. And I don't know, it's tied with the log with 21.3% usage in all decks. Moving on to number 10. This is top 10, so these are used a lot. Minions. Minions are 3 elixir, good value. They do a ton of damage if they get on your tower. They're kind of like skeletons, except they're flying and have more health. And, what was I gonna say? Minions just pretty much wreck face. And, they're good at defense. They can be good at offense. Just like an Inferno Dragon. And, like, it's crazy that such a cheap card can be so good and have so much value. So, like, what's it called? The log, zap, fire spirits. And I've said this a lot, but there's so much value involved in these cards. It's just crazy. That's probably why it's used so much. I kind of like the minions. Although I don't use minions, I use the minion horde. Minion horde is just like an even better version. It's like putting more minions in, multiplying minions times 2, and then just adding 2 elixirs, which is a good deal. Well, we're not talking about the minion horde yet, but now we're moving on to, minions are used in 21.5% of all decks. Moving on to number 9, Valkyrie. Valkyrie, like, it spins around in a circle and does a ton of damage if you get it high up, and takes out cheap stuff and can be a good tank, has a good amount of health. Only 4 elixir. It's like, does almost as much damage as a musketeer. I think it might have to be a 1 more elixir, but I like the Valkyrie, and it's one of my favorite defensive cards. And that puts it at 23.2% in all decks. Number 8. You guys were probably expecting this because everybody like Arena 7 and above sees this way too much, and it's the Elite Barbs. Elite Barbarians. Wreck face. They're only 6 elixir. It's kind of like a Royal Giant that is faster and does a ton of damage. And there's 2 of them. So, like, I think I hate Elite Barbs even worse than the Royal Giant. And people still like it. And they still use it a lot. I tried using it. I stuck in them. And I just hate that people think they're good using the Elite Barbs. So, all those people who think they're good is 23.4% of all people putting them in their decks. Okay, so number 7. I talked about this earlier. The Minion Horde. Minion Horde, oh wow, 2 Lava Hounds. Like, multiplying the minions by 2 and adding 2 elixir. That's probably the reason why they're 2 more elixir, because there's 2 more. Very good on both offense and defense. Better on defense, but they do a ton of damage. They don't have much health, but if you need their health, then, I mean, I wouldn't say tank for it, but if you need like a few seconds on your graveyard, then a Mega Minion could be good. And it might get a shot, like, it does like 200, 300 damage per shot. And 3 elixirs, the same, wait, what am I talking about? Why am I talking about the Mega Minion? No, the Minion Horde. I was just watching this battle and I saw Mega Minion, so Minion Horde, like, it can tank for a graveyard, but it if it gets arrowed and like zapped or something, then that can be bad and you lose all your Minion Horde. Oh, 31 health. Wow. And that's not a way you want to use it, but they're very good on defense. Like, they do, like, there's 5 of them, and, wait, it's not doubling it, is it? Is there 6 or 5? 6, sorry. And they do like 100, almost 100 damage a piece. Let me check. Like 77 damage a piece. 77 times 6, that's like over 400 damage, which is extremely overpowered. Just 5 elixir. They're vulnerable to wizard, arrows, and zap. But if you get into a tower and they don't have an answer, the tower's done. Which puts the Minion Horde at 24.9% of all decks. Alright, moving on. Number 6. Best counter of the Minion Horde, the arrows. Arrows can be used against goblins, goblin barrel, Minion Horde for a good elixir trade. If you use it against the Minion Horde, 3 elixir for 5. You get 2 elixir back. So if you make a mistake, you can just use arrows on minion hordes. And then that's what happens to my minion hordes. Arrows are cheap. They're one of the first cards in the game. In our training camp, they're common. You automatically get it if you start. So, I like it. Arrows, I don't like using Zap because their Zap is very small ranged and doesn't do as much damage as arrows. Arrows has like as big as hold on. Radius 4, I think Rage is 5. And Rage and Graveyard are the biggest cards. Ooh, Brian. I am James. Hi. Recording video. Recording video. Sorry. This is Isaac. There we go. Hey, promote. I'll be back. Alright, back. Just promoting them. Great. Royal Giants. No! Crap. Alright, I guess we're doing a battle. No, I'll be back. Alright, I'm resuming this recording because I played this guy before and it was just today. Crap, that was the wrong side. You know, cycle that. Oops, I'm too good. Crap. Why does he have such high level cards? Alright, no, I'll be back. As you can see, we kind of beat him. Alright, it is going. Alright, so where are we? We're arrows. So arrows are used in 25.4% of all decks. And P, no problem. Moving on. Number 5, the Hog Rider. This is the most used tank, and I understand why. It does too much damage. 4 elixir. It has a good amount of health. Can be like goblins, like spear goblins, goblin gang, goblin barrel. Goblins are good with it. Skeletons are good with it. It's just very good in like any deck you have, except for like if it has another tank besides the giant. And I like the Hog Rider myself. It's one of my favorite tanks until I started playing with the Golem. Nice. That was my sister. And it's you, and other people think it's pretty good too. And now it's used in 28.3% of all decks. Number 4, the Fireball. Fireball, most value spell to me, I think. 4 elixir does a ton of, like, not a ton, but like a good amount of damage. Good amount of damage to crown towers. And it has a good range, not like radius, not like huge like the rage spell or arrows or anything, but it's good against spawner decks, like clumped up troops. I already said spawner, and like wizards and witches, like giant wizard witch, what I have, and fireball is used in every one of my decks except for this one and the expo deck. I don't know why it's not using that, but I advise you guys to use it. It's very good when you're first starting off. I think you automatically get it. Yeah, you automatically get it in training camp. and it's good value and it's like awesome. Other people think so, and it's now used in 29.2% of all decks. That's crazy. Alright, number 3, the Wizard. So I just started using the Wizard like a ton. I started using it a month ago, and oh my god. 5 Elixir does a ton of damage, splash damage, hits air, takes out minions one shot. Like, minions and minion horrors are like on this top 10 list. Why wouldn't you use it? Like, seriously. I advise you guys to use Wizard too. Although it's vulnerable to Fireball. Oh, I almost ended that. It's just good value. It needs to be tanked for. It doesn't have much health, but I like it. I don't know if you guys like it, but it's good. I'm using it as much as I used a bomber. Hi. I don't know why, but I used to love bombers, and now Wizard has taken its place because it does about the same. Not right now. Not right now. And it's very good, hits air, kills minions, and it's used in over 30% of all decks. 30.3% of all decks. Number 2, you guys were probably expecting this, the Royal Giant. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how it jumped this much from 30.3% of all decks to 47% in all decks. Really? I mean, Fireball Zap is good. Zap stuns stuff, and doesn't do much damage. It's not used for damage, but the main reason why people use it is because it stuns like Inferno Towers, Inferno Dragons, Sparkies, Princes. I wouldn't say use it because I like using the Skeleton Army, the Skarmy, and please don't. Like Elite Barbarian Zap. Zap is used in most of all meta decks, and that's probably why it's used so much. Number 1 is what the Zap is used for the most, and I just said it. It's the Skarmy. Skarmy. Over 50% of all decks, which is crazy. 52.4% of all decks. Skeletons, and there's 14 skeletons for 3 elixir. Like, think about that. If you get that on a tower, boom, tower's done. It's good against. It's like the best thing for defense. Like, it shreds giants, golems, but the golem blows up. It's good against hog riders. Anything like ground tanks, it's good against. Its weakness, probably zap, arrows, and splash damage stuff. And air, minions. So, I like it, and apparently a lot of other people do. And you heard me. 52.4% in all decks. This is a longer video, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.